While you're listening to this episode, Wesley Megaman Tills has already stepped foot on the beginning of his 8,000-mile trek that he calls a walk for the wild. In fact, today, this morning, May 25th, was when he started. I was able to snag a bit of Megaman's time before he set off to see what he expects to see and experience along that first month of hiking, the support he's already seeing from our community, and we even learned a bit about his origins, running away from the Mormon church, being chased, developing arsenic poisoning from a diet of just nuts in the backcountry, and how nature transformed his life. I'm one of your hosts, Yeti Legs, and you're listening to the Yeti Walks into Base Camp Talking Through Hiking podcast, a show for hikers, backpackers, thru hikers, tree huggers, and anyone who just loves to walk outside. We're a hiking podcast with a goal to make the outdoors more accessible for all of you by telling stories, sharing information, and having folks on that offer advice, gear, and peace of mind. We also like to talk about environmental topics and what's happening on our planet. Knowledge is power, and as lovers of the great outdoors, we want all of us to feel a bit more empowered. A huge thanks to Jolly Gear, Leave Outdoors, and Symbiosis Gear for sponsoring this episode. Listen through the show to win some free swag from Leave Outdoors. All right, let's hit the trail. What's going on, Tremoli? How's it going today? I've got a very special follow-up episode, Conservation Corner, today. We're going to be following up with Megaman, or Wesley Tills. We already interviewed him about a month or two back. Go check out that episode called Hiking 8,000 Miles for Nature. Yeah, that's episode 82. So go check that out to understand a little bit more about Wesley, why he is so darn experienced, and why we think he's going to make his 8,000-mile trek for nature, or his walk for the wild trek, why he's going to make it happen. And also what he's doing on that trek, why he's planning to hike 8,000 miles for conservation, to bring awareness for conservation, all the good things. I don't want to sit here and talk about it anymore because I've already done it once in that last episode. Megaman, Wesley, it's good to have you back, man. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good. Glad to be back.
Right on, right on. And whenever this episode releases, y'all, it's going to release on the day that Megaman is starting his trek. So his walk for the wild. It's going to start on May 25th. So that's the day that this episode is going to drop. It felt kind of important to get you back on here and talk about what you're doing and have it come out the day you start. So I really appreciate you squeezing in that time. It's been a couple months since we last talked, man, and I want to know, you're trying to raise awareness for purpose of conservation, and you're trying to gain momentum and funding for these conservation entities along the way, which you already mentioned. Since we last talked, like what's happened? Have you gotten any brands to support you? Have you raised any money? What's been going on?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of both. On the money department, on the GoFundMe, I've raised $1,340, which is pretty good. And then Venmo, people sent me, I think, somewhere around like $500. So I'm sitting somewhere around $800 or $1,800 in the plus. I have all my credit card debt paid off. I have $6,000 saved up. So, pretty the most money by far I've ever had. Like most of my thru hikes have been, under $2,000. So that's pretty nice.
But for a year and a half, do you think that that'll be enough to sustain you?
No, but, you just watch miracles happen. That's all. There's lots of people who have offered their homes and things like that. And those have kind of been like this weird form of a sponsor, just the natural trail angels that have been happening. I've had probably over 200 people offer their homes to me throughout this hike. So, saving money on motels, instead I can, sleep on the couch or things like that and eat a warm dinner as opposed to go out. So, yeah, there's all these little pit stops along the way of people. As far as gear and stuff goes, got to give a shout out to our bud crush, Jack Pepper. He's sent me all his backpacking gear that he had. So, not, he has his own stuff still, but he sent me like a whole setup. So I can't tell you the specific things because I'm not a gear tech junkie. I've never had that ability to get into it, but he told me it's over $1,000 worth of gear, which is double the amount of money I've ever had on any of my gear. Normally my gear is about $400 the whole setup. He's set me up real solid, yeah.
Man, Crush is a godsend. Today's his birthday.
I do. I send him a little happy birthday, but yeah, May 5th. That's cool. He's a cool guy. I mean, like, even beyond like just the nice things he's doing, he's just a good human. So, yeah. Bowl and Kettle, you guys sent them my way. They're sending my first restock as far as food goes. So I'll do a nice little food review for them. I'm sure I'm going to like it. I'm actually cooking on this trail. I have a little collapsible stove thing where I can just collect wood out in the wild and then make a fire that way with it, and bring in a cup even with me so I can boil some water so I can eat warm meals, which is a first thing that I've ever experienced. So I'm excited for that. So food sponsor, yeah, lots of gear. Some of the public land agency or conservation agencies. I got North Country Trail on board, which is a huge one. They, I kind of told them the rundown. I want to interview people and get their what they're doing and their progress and everything. And they're totally on board for helping out. Other ones I've hit up and either they're busy or they just, don't know what I'm doing. And so they, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't register in their head like the conservation organization that's trying to rewild the Great Plains by introducing bison into it. I've hit them up 4 times now and getting through to all the people's many phone calls where I'm sitting there waiting and hasn't worked yet. But hopefully eventually they'll pick up on what I'm doing and realize like, oh, this can work to our advantage.
And boy, we need some conservation for bison right now, don't we?
We sure do. I just recently read some of Trump's intentions about it, and I was like, good grief. Like,
yeah, relocating, quote unquote, relocating and repurposing that land. Yeah.
He's trying to destroy this planet. I'm sorry. I'm just like, what are you doing with all of this? So.
Man, I don't think you're the only person that feels that way. But he's not going to stop you from hiking this trek. So you're going to be out there doing what good you can, man.
Giveaway alert! It's cold outside. And you know what I love?
Being warm?
I love being warm.
Yes, you do. You know what else I love, and I know you love too? Not having a back-breaking load of weight on your back. And you know how you get that?
You know what helps that?
Leave Outdoors.
Because they have a very lightweight, I call them mid-layers, that if it's super cold outside, I will mid-layer it with my puffy. And Cameron, who actually runs the company and his family, does these epic alpha hoodies. He has a 60, a 90, and a 120. And so all of them are for different types of terrain, weather, and temperatures.
And he also does beanies. He does a hiking sun shirt now. And he's got a super ultra hyper lightweight jacket, which you should go and check out.
Amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
And we have a discount code for them. And so if you go to Leave Outdoors website, you get a discount code of
10% if you plug in Yeti Walks into Basecamp, all one word, at checkout. Cameron does have a lot of promotions internally as well. So the promos don't stack. So definitely use the one that's going to get you the most discount. But you always have this one to fall back on.
And if you are able to, if there's any comment section or anywhere inside of your shipping order, if you can just let him know that Yeti Legs and Basecamp sent you, we would be greatly appreciative.
To that, we are giving away a little care package from Cameron. Thank you, Cameron, for sponsoring this podcast and our episode. We want to hear what your most interesting animal or wildlife encounter is when on a trail. So shoot us an email with that. If you're the first person to email us that story, you'll be a care package winner, and we will coordinate with you via email, get you the right sizes and everything for that care package. Are you going to keep trying to reach out to these conservation groups whenever you're hiking as well?
I mean, when I'm in towns and stuff, little phone calls and stuff, I'll make notes on trail, like, oh, we're getting near this part. Like, you got to hit them up and stuff. And even like using community, if I put it out there, like, hey, I'm in this town and everything, anybody know this community. Like, one of my friends, he is good buds with the founder or like the owner of this climbing coalition in the Great Lakes region. So he's going to just hook me up with him whenever that time comes, and then we can because climbers care about conservation too, and kind of hear their side of it. There's a nice lady in southern Michigan that has hit me up who is native, and she's trying to get me in contact with 3 of the tribes up there, which I've called continually, and again, they don't understand it, so they haven't turned me down. They just don't understand what I'm talking about when I say I'm walking all the way across the country. And then the Boundary Waters, I've hit them up a good couple of times, and they've responded, but they're just we're really worn out right now and busy, but we want to work together.
Can you blame them though?
No, you can't. No, they're in a big fight right now.
Well, let's hope that drilling is litigated to hell and back.
Yeah. Well, if I see it out there, I'll tell you what.
Yeah. Do you know about the Boundary Waters and all the drilling? Do you know enough to be able to let listeners know what's happening?
I don't know names and things like that, but I know what's going down with it. And yeah, I mean, I'm a generalist with most of this stuff. I might know a lot about the Great Basin conservation stuff, but that's pretty niche. And that's only because I live out here and work out here and been doing it for years and stuff.
Yeah, for those listening, I think it was just passed to allow a Chilean drilling company to drill in the Boundary Waters. And a lot of people were fighting against that, and it still passed regardless of what seemed like the overwhelming general consensus was from the public mass. So that's really unfortunate. Hopefully y'all can make something happen. I don't know what that would look like, but...
I'm trying. My kind of tactic with this, gain a bunch of viewership and everything. That's going to gain, if I get audience and then I go and interview these people, then I can post their interviews online on social medias. That then, have a link directly to that group if people want to donate directly to that group. Just have ways to do that. In the documentary, I kind of have a fun idea of interviewing every group, and there'll be multiple. The interviews will be lengthy-ish, probably 20, 30 minutes, but there's going to be one question that I think is real important all throughout it, and that's going to be, what does the wild mean to you? And I'm going to ask every group that and, compile that all together, because that's what it's about, is protecting the wild. So what does it mean to people, and why is that important to protect? So
what does the wild mean to you?
I mean, the wild to me in its core essence is home. It means where I can be me. That's where you feel safe is, to me, where home is. And I feel safe in the wild, when I'm surrounded by wildlife and nature and everything. Yeah, the wild is a place of great ecodiversity, where things are either working in sync or little ebbs and flows to kind of keep population distributions and everything. I think it's a free-flowing kind of environment. I don't think it's restricted to boundaries. I mean, ultimately, to me, I would say the wild is home. It's where I can be my natural self. I can throw rocks at rocks and run around and not have to worry about humans being like, you can't do that. Behave. You are a civilian. Behave like one, It's a place to be free.
Yeah, to the wildlife. I mean, the only boundaries are the areas inaccessible based on your mode of transportation. Birds have it a lot better than other species, don't they?
They sure do. We're all a little jealous of the birds.
We are, aren't we?
Yeah.
The Jolly Gear motto is where fun meets functional, and the owner Jolly truly wears that motto on his sleeve. Blending the comfort of a button-down with the sun protection of a sun shirt, Jolly Gear creates tops and dresses from an 84% polyester, 16% spandex blend that dries quickly and offers antimicrobial properties. With color patterns like Disco Leopard, Kaleidoscope, Pool Party, and Trail Madness, you can expect only the most epic of double takes when walking by hikers on a trail with your Jolly Gear on. When we hiked the PCT in 2022, we made it to Bernie Falls only to have our sun shirts literally dissolving on our bodies. We reached out to Jolly Gear and he, free of charge, expedited 2 matching Casa orange sun shirts to us in Redding, California. We finished the trail in those shirts and still have them to this day. Marie especially loved the ponytail hole in the back of the hood that allowed for sun protection without discomfort when she wanted to stick a bun or a ponytail through it. You can snag 15% off of your order at jollygear.com by using the code YETI at checkout. That's YETI at checkout to get 15% off of your entire purchase at jollygear.com. Crafted by a thru hiker for anyone who loves to go for a walk outside, check out jollygear.com to outfit your next hike with some high personality sun protection where fun meets functional. Thank you, Jolly, for sponsoring this episode and this podcast. You don't know what the future holds, but you have a good idea. So I'm curious, what do you think, based on all your hiking experience and what you know of the land ahead of you, what do you think that first month on this trek is going to look like?
You know, there's definitely some surprises. Like, I don't know it all. As far as the start of it at Quoddy Head State Park, I'm trying to hit as many wilderness areas as I can before getting to the Appalachian Trail. So it's about a 200-mile stretch to get to the Appalachian Trail. And there's going to be this one wilderness area that's kind of split up into multiple units called Moosehorn Wilderness. I don't know the trail quality or anything. I just see the dotted outline on Gaia. The websites, you know, just kind of like they can be buggy and swampy, and I'm like, well, yeah, I figured, you know. But it'll be a lot of dirt roads and things like that, and the beginning's not going to be too exciting except for those spots. I'm going to film heavily in those, but I don't think it'll be a lot of residential. I just think it'll be real rural. So I'm expecting dog attacks, so I'm, you know, going to carry pepper spray. Yeah, I think it'll just be like dog attacks, and maybe the occasional moose will run out or black bear will come and visit kind of thing. But yeah, that'll be the first 200 miles. Then the rest of it will be the Appalachian Trail for the first month. And yeah, the AT, I mean, it's the toughest part of the AT with Mount Katahdin, Southern Maine, and the Whites. But yeah, that's also for me where it all started. If you don't include the runaway missionary story, the whole me running from the Mormon mission to live out in the wild on the PCT back when I was 21. When I was 23 doing the Appalachian Trail, that was, yeah, where I started. I went southbound. So I'm excited to go back and revisit that. I know it's very putty, you know, pointless ups and downs is what they call it. I don't know if I'd call them pointless, you know, but they're definitely ups and downs continually. I'm expecting a good bit of scrapes and bruises and being eaten by black flies and mosquitoes and things like that.
And ticks.
Oh, yeah, lots of ticks, lots of tick checking. Yeah, back to tick country.
Do you have permethrin or any other type of bug spray to use?
No, I don't really like using bug spray. I'm just going to bring a net over my head and then just tuck my socks into my pants and wear long sleeves and then just do a nightly check.
I think that's a good idea. I'm not going to let you get away without briefly telling me what this escapade/escape from the Mormon church is.
My intro to thru hiking was my Mormon mission. So I served a mission in Northern California, decided it wasn't for me, prayed and fasted about like where I should go, what I need to do with my life. And I had the strong inclination that I needed to go to the wild to find spirituality. So I ran from the church. They sent 8 missionaries after me, the police. I ran from the police, all the church, ran to the wild, lived on the PCT for like 2 weeks. I got arsenic poisoning because I didn't know what I was doing. So I was just eating almonds and walnuts, which both contain arsenic. So I got really sick, would throw up, be like, well, I need to fix that because I'm hungry now. So then I'd eat more and then, I was killing myself. So, there's a bunch of other details. It's a big, long story. But yeah, still to this day in Northern California, I'm known as the runaway missionary.
We're definitely going to do that story later in the future whenever you've got time, man. I want to dig more into that.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
So we're recording this on May 5th. That gives you about 20 days until you start hiking. What are you going to do with your time between now and when you effectively start?
Yeah, so right now I am at the Ramada in Reno, which is a pretty rundown motel. It's $60 a night. Me and my friend Brady, who also does archaeology, who's also a Triple Crown hiker, we're just splitting it. So $30 a night isn't too shabby, but a lot of zombie walkers and things around this part of town. It's kind of if you like characters, it's a fun place to be. And yeah, so I'm just hanging here. He's leaving for work tomorrow, and then I'm just gonna go up into the mountains. The Sierra Nevadas are 5 miles away, so I'm just gonna hike and backpack around for 2-3 days. I fly to Kansas City on Sunday, so I just got to be back down to Reno by Sunday, get to the airport, fly to Kansas City. I want to see my family one more time. My mom's in good health now, but she was in the hospital in the ER for some pretty bad stuff. I guess she had MRSA for 8 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it was like, she was just like, I can't sleep. You know, she hasn't been able to sleep for the last 8 months, 2-3 hours, and just been going through hellish pain. And then they were like, yeah, you've had MRSA for like 8-10 months. So they have her on antibiotics or whatever. But yeah, I want to, you know, my parents are getting older and they both walk with canes and things like that. And, you know, I have a very healthy, good relationship with my parents. I love them very dearly. So that part plays a big factor in my head. You know, like, yeah, I hope that, you know, they just got to live long enough for me to complete this hike, and then every extra bit will be bonus points. But I want to see them just to make sure. All these other people, like, you going to trail days, come up, visit me in the Great Lakes before I get all this stuff. Like, nah, like, what's important to me is my family. I got to see my parents, you know, because you never know when's your last time seeing them. So
It's true. Wow. That's really powerful. You know, your mom, whenever I posted that video about how it was the last day for me to be raising money for your trek here, she commented on the Facebook post and thanked me. She's so sweet.
dude, my mom is, yeah, I mean, she's a superwoman. She's like just incredibly strong, incredibly kind. I mean, she has 11 children. She has 24 grandchildren. She has 4 great grandchildren. Like, she's a superwoman. She's incredibly durable.
You know what? I think the world is run by women, and they just let men think that they run it.
Well, growing up in the Mormon church, there was always the priesthood, you know, and it's men, and the men rule the church. Behind closed doors, all those men were run by women. You know, like, my dad's the priesthood holder, but he comes home, my mom's like, Alan, this needs done. Alan, do this, you know. Don't, you know, she runs the shots and he obeys, and that's because women are wise and we listen to them, because us men are often we're risk takers. We can be a little crazy, a little stupid at times.
Oh yeah. You say your dad's name is Alan?
Yeah.
Did you know that my name is Wesley Allen?
No way.
Yeah.
Almost became my middle name.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Dude, we would have been brothers from another mother.
Wesley Allens. That would have been insane.
There aren't too many of us out there, you know.
No. I mean, Wesley's let alone. Yeah.
Boobies. It feels odd recording this without Basecamp, but I feel confident in talking about boobs without her, especially because of the need for more backpacking equipment out there that accommodates bodies with a bit more curve. Sarah Berkeley, founder of Symbiosis Gear, also saw that need and decided to do what she could to fill that niche. So she whipped out a pen, paper, and a sewing machine to create the Aspen Backpack, a minimal, ultralight backpack designed for multi-day trips, coming in at roughly about 1 pound and 9 ounces. Pull it from her website. We are proud of these features and know women backpackers will love them too. Features include an S-curve strap and 3-way adjustable sternum straps to accommodate a wide range of chest sizes and shapes. When Basecamp and I hit the Colorado Trail in October of last year, she took the Aspen with her and was a huge fan of the S-curve straps and how they were far less restricting on her body than a J-shaped strap intended for more slender and, dare I say, masculine body types. Sarah has given us a 15% discount code to share with you, our listeners. Go to symbiosisgear.com and plug in the code YETI15, that is YETI15, to get 15% off of the Aspen Pack. That'll save you almost $50 on a backpack that I'm sure many women and curvy-bodied folks out there would say is priceless. Thank you, Sarah, for sponsoring this podcast and this episode. So to wrap things up here, how are you feeling about getting this thing started? Are you a little nervous? Are you just anxious, kind of ready to get it going?
It's a little of both, you know, like physically I feel ready and I have a lot of confidence in myself. I think the parts that scare me are the parts that I'm not fresh with. Like, I can survive. I can be out in the woods for months at a time and not see another human and thrive just fine. I can fight a grizzly bear off. You know, I've done these things. I feel confident in my abilities. I don't want to fight a grizzly bear, but I can do it. I've done it, you know. But the social media, the judgments, you know, because I've lived long enough to hear it long enough that everyone thinks, not everybody, but a lot of people think I'm a very unusual, crazy individual. And it is kind of then tough to be that person that people want you to be, so you can gain the attraction and everything and not create, because I just don't want online drama. I just want to do my hike and be positive and have positivity. But yeah, I always get worried about, the comments do affect you. I've had a lot of negative comments from time to time pop up, just people, I call it venom spitting. I just think these people are like full of poison and they got to give it to somebody else, so they just like say mean things to other people, and it gets in my head. I don't like it, but I try to push it away. And you remember, like, people are entitled to their opinions, and it is what it is. Not everyone's going to like you, and that's okay.
If you're a person full of a lot of emotions, that stuff can't not affect you in some way.
Yeah.
It's definitely bothered both, Marie and myself. Best advice I can give you, don't even read the entire comment. If you know it's a bad one, just go ahead and automatically block them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. The minute that you smell that negativity, just get rid of it, because it's not welcomed. There's no reason for that. Yeah, it's like I always grew up, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. Like I'm just not the type of person to be mean to others, and I don't understand why people have that urge to be mean to each other. But at the same time, there's a ton of supporters and a ton of good people out there, and that's what's nice too.
You've got a gentle soul and a huge heart, so let that be your guiding light.
Yeah. The main thing is we don't suppress it, which I think is impossible for me. It's too darn big. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to follow along. So I know you got your social media, but I think I saw you say you're going to start a Substack, or did you start one, or some type of a blog or something?
Yeah. So I'm right now trying WordPress. I still got to get all the things set up and see if that works with it. If it doesn't, maybe Blogger or something. I'm not too sure with it, but I wrote like a little thing just about, little internal thoughts with it on the philosophy of the hike. But yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep like a journal entry on like a Patreon, probably through WordPress, if I can keep it on there on the Patreon and everything. And that'll be, like the internet stuff will be just whatever to get the attentions and whatnot. But the blogging and everything, that'll be raw and personal. So if you actually want to hear like the pains and things, because I'm not going to be trying to show the negativities. I don't want to show, or the grotesque, or, things like that. That'll be on the blog. Like, I had to cut this thing off me, or, bone's not connected today and it's causing throbbing pain, and, things like that. Those are more like, that'll be journal entries for people to see.
Well, I'm going to be following the journal entries then.
Yeah.
I want to know the real and the raw, man.
Yeah. And, we all do. It's just, social media is ADD culture, and you can't get real and raw with something that has to be messaged in 5 seconds. So, yeah.
Well, I'm excited for this. I'm excited for you to start this trek and see what, momentum it brings.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, and thank you so much for all the support and everything you've provided so far. I'm glad you've been on board for it.
Of course. If I was in a position like you to do something like this, I wish I could. So let me help out however I can. So here I am.
Yeah, well, that's very cool of you. So,
well, Godspeed to you, brother, and we'll catch you on the next episode whenever you're actually out there hiking. Who knows when that'll be, but hopefully we can snag some time from you.
Absolutely, I'll make some time for it. But yeah, look forward to it.
Right on. Happy trails, man.
Yep, happy trails.
And real quick, I just wanted to thank the Fire Wenceslaus for our intro and our outro music. We love you, Anders, and we really appreciate you letting us use your tracks like that. And we just wanted to wrap with this. Doesn't matter if you're out there hiking an 8,000-mile trek, if you're doing a 100-mile hike, through hike, whatever you want to call that, if you're doing a 100-mile hike, or if you're just doing a little jaunt in your neighborhood or on the dog path. Because at the end of the day, we're all just outside walking. Hey everyone, Yeti Legs here. We just wanted to let you know that here at Yeti Walks into Base Camp, we do not use AI for any of our editing, recording, social media, or image generation. Everything is done by hand by our team, and that's how we want it to stay. The use of AI has detrimental effects on our environment, and we want no part of it. So we hope you enjoyed this episode that was hand edited by our team with talent and integrity.